We are almost through Dragonflight, and you may be looking to start something new. Perhaps healing for a chance? Hi, my name is Mistress Minty, and I've created this universal guide that I think would benefit any new healer coming into the game. I am a Mistweaver and Resto Druid main, and if you find anything useful in this guide, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. First off, let's get into what healing is. In the lower levels of healing, most of your concerns are simply keeping everyone's health above zero. However, in the higher end of healing, meaning in-game content, rating, hierarchies, and PvP, you're going to need to do more and utilize damage spells and healing spells and a little bit of wit to see to it that you get the dub in the end. Always be casting. This keeps you ahead of the damage as much as possible and makes you more prepared for slam mechanics, sometimes in a fight. You might also find a little bit of lull time between damage, trash, and boss battles. This is when you should be weaving in your damage spells with your healing. Let's talk mana management. You need to have the best strings available as a healer. For right now, in Dragonflight, you want to spring for the delicious Dragon Spittle. It's currently available in the auction house. I don't even know who makes it, it just is in the auction house, and it's better than anything you can currently get in the inn. When to drink. As a healer, it's important to keep track of your mana, again, as you know, and when you're in combat, you are not able to use any consumables that are not usable in combat. This will mean drinks. So, a good technique is stealing sips in the middle of pools. If you're a thirsty healer and maybe the tank just needs more healing, or whoever needs more healing than usual, it is up to you to figure out a best time when to drink or when to get full drinks and when to stop, or tell your healer, or sorry, tell your tank to stop, or your damage to stop, and let you get a full drink. You can put your drinks on more accessible parts of your UI. Personally, I have my drinks down here on the bar so that I can see exactly when I drop combat, when I can steal that sip in between pulls, because it'll illuminate as soon as I get out of combat. Just like that. Take my few little sips and get straight back into healing and get straight back into combat. You can also use an add-on called Opie. I personally do not like to use this because I have to bring my fingers out of position on my keyboard, but you can use this and it's a consumable wheel, or you can customize Opie with any consumables or any mounts or anything that you want. But a lot of healers use Opie for consumables and just like boop, and you're automatically drinking. But personally, that is not the way I heal, but it is a good technique for any other healers that might be looking to try something like that. It is said that one of the hardest things in WoW is setting up your bars, your keybinds, positioning of everything on your screen, and making sure that you can play well in high level and in-game content. One of your main concerns in WoW as a player and a healer in general is to make sure that all your buttons are conducive to a good gameplay session. You want to kind of put everything in a certain place. You want to keep your most used spells on your most used fingers, and things like that. So basically, creating your UI is not an easy feat, and everyone's UI is very different, and you will see that with any game you play, but specifically World of Warcraft. One of the main things that you want as a healer is a fast and feasible way to do things. Every instance has its one slap mechanic that can blow any teammate away at any moment if you don't know what you're doing. But do understand that there is a difference between healing big slap damage and healing, well, players. Screen positioning is imperative as a healer, while bearing in mind that everyone's UI is different, especially healers' UIs, right down to whatever add-ons they're using. It's important to know that you want to keep whatever you're doing close to you. I don't recommend when healers put their bars here at the bottom or put it here at the side or anything like that. Some healers do work like that, and players in general, because they can see all of their cooldowns and everything like that, and with their bars next to them. However, I don't recommend that style of gameplay because if you're looking down at your bars and looking down at your cooldowns and you don't really have everything memorized, you could potentially get slammed by a mechanic or miss something, or maybe your teammate might be, having a little bit of trouble with the mechanic or something. Maybe you're on a healer that has an interrupt and you don't know that you need to interrupt because you're looking down at your bars here to see what cooldowns are available. So I don't recommend this style of gameplay. I recommend keeping your bars up here to the side. If you are a mouse over healer, I definitely recommend this play style where you keep your bars close to the side of you. That way you can see all your cooldowns and things like that. And it definitely does push you to memorize all your cooldowns down here and makes you an all-around better player. Alrighty, moving right along to what even is this add-on that I use. This is called Voodoo. A lot of healers use it, again bearing in mind that everyone's UI is different, so you won't find this on everyone's, or it looks different because this UI add-on is highly customizable and anyone can set up theirs however they would like. So let's look into it and I'll show you what we can do with it. Looking at Voodoo here, you can already see that it is a very intricate and fully customizable add-on. You can set how many people you want in a party to show up. You can set up profiles. First and foremost, what you want to set up when you come to Voodoo, you want to set up your spells and your buttons. I have up and down mouse wheels for pain suppression and purify on this priest. You can set up your local keys, what custom keybinds you want, and things like that. Where do you want your buffs to show up? Where do you want your debuffs to show up? How do you want your debuffs to show up? Do you want a timer on it? So again, this add-on is very, very, very customizable. You can even set up how big you want your panels, how small you want your panels. You can set up what hostile spells you would like to do. You can set up your hostile spells here, what you would like to do as soon as you hit an enemy or something like that. Bop. There goes that. Holy fire. So, one of the nifty things about Voodoo is that it allows you to change the color of the class when they aren't buffed. For example, if you are a priest or a druid, if you need to put on fortitude or you need to put on Mark of the Wild, and sometimes you forget to buff your party mates or your raid mates, go ahead and put on this setting. It allows you to set the color to whatever you want it to be. I personally set it to a color that no class is in game, so I know, so I can look, oh, automatically, they're not buffed, let me cast buff. So when I cast the buff, boom, now my class color changed to the correct color and I know that this person has a buff on them. Lastly, no one is birthed out of the canal with every single tidbit of knowledge of World of Warcraft and how to play it. So it's important to not be hard on yourself whenever you make a mistake, or it's important to take pride in the fact that you're learning. Sometimes you get into a group and if you're doing something a little bit higher, something a little bit out of your comfort zone, maybe try telling your group that you're a little bit new to this, and 6 to 7 times out of 10, they're going to be very understanding and help you and go along with your pace, because there are a lot of good players in World of Warcraft, and me personally, I love knowing that someone is learning because that makes me more able to teach them or be more patient with them or understand that they might need help with mechanics more and not be so frustrated or anything like that when it comes down to getting mechanics just right. And once again, don't forget to buff. Sometimes these DPS out here get a little bit rabid and feral when they don't get their fortitude buff.